welcome to another exciting episode of Behind the Stitch with Simon Stich Group, and we're here with JAWNZ of Magnum Man.
What's good, bro? How you doing?
Thank you for having us today. So JAWNZ and I come a very long way, so he's going to tell us his story today. So please, can you introduce yourself to us and let us know who you are?
Okay, so I'm OLAJIRE, OMIKUNLE, CEO of Magnum Stitches and Magnum Man. Magnum Stitches, the story started back from when I was in uni. The uni where I went to back then, Babcock University, we're not allowed to wear jeans or mufti, right, as we called it then. Right, and we were like, well, shirt and trouser or kaftans. So I started wearing kaftans, natives, at a very early stage in uni from like second year, and then I used to wear that a lot. And a lot of my friends back then, like a lot of my schoolmates, classmates, wanted to know where I used to make my clothes. So that's how I started. So every other weekend, I used to recommend a tailor for them. And I now thought, okay, you know what, it's something I could do on the side. I'm introducing my tailor to my friends, and I started Magnum Stitches from there, to be honest. Yes.
The spotlight has been shining on you off like a runway show in Paris. You had a pop-up in Paris, a new flagship store. So how do you process this success?
To be honest, success comes with a lot of weight and with a lot of details for me. So it's been very, very stressful, and it's always been a moving journey. I say this thing they call success is a moving train. As long as the train is moving, then you're going to be keeping going forward. So for me, what's the next stop? What is the next stop? Because the next train never stops, but it's stressful because we have to keep it moving, to be honest.
So okay, you already even gave us an insight to your early days and the early days in your career already. So I don't think I should ask you so much. But what inspires you to create these products? Because you said, you created Magnum Stitches.
Yes.
Now you have metamorphosed into Magnum Man. So what was the inspiration?
For me, from the jump, I always wanted African clothes to go outside to the world. For me, I've always been very inspired by culture, tradition. That's always been my inspiration from the jump. And I always wanted to be able to see African clothes globally. I've always traveled and seen Chinese restaurants all over the place, where people they're not Chinese people. And I used to wonder how the Chinese restaurant end up in those places. And for me, it was how could African clothes end up in countries whereby Africans are not living? And that's the idea behind Magnum.
Oh, so your design process now. So what was it like? How do you source your fabrics? Are they locally sourced, internationally sourced?
So, as you said, the DNA of the brand is African, right? It's in the tradition and the culture. And what we're trying to do is bring this tradition and culture and trying to envision it in a modern way, right? And for us to do this, we have to bring in the old and new together. So it's bringing the tradition from the old part of Africa and modernizing it with the Western world. So there's a combination of African traditional materials and mixing it with cotton or linen from Far East or from Europe. So to gather these fine premium products that we're creating.
So you go all around Africa,
all over the world to meet up to the standard of what we're creating. But the DNA of our products originates from Africa.
Because I could see it in Magnum Man too.
Yes.
T-shirts.
Yes. Even from the design, the inspirations from the design, the feel, the silhouette comes from Africa as a whole. So
how do you balance this aggressive expectation, especially from clients? They are like the king of OLAJIRE in Nigeria. Everybody wants your products every Saturday. So how do you balance this, and how do you manage your staff members?
I think when it comes to balance, when it comes to an organization, the most important thing is the team. Right? The team is the most important thing. When you have the right team, I think the rest follows it. If you have the right people around you, things can be able to move smoothly. But with the wrong people, then it now becomes a headache. And as long as you enjoy and are passionate about what you're doing, then it doesn't seem like work because you're enjoying it, and as you're going forward, it doesn't seem like work. Obviously, there are going to be hurdles, right? But that's also part of the process, because as you face the hurdles, that's also a growth process for me and, for our organization as we find it.
Like you said, an OG started this when you're in Bangkok. So I'm not going to ask what were the challenges there. But what are the challenges you face now with Magnum Man, not even Magnum Stitches?
Well, with Magnum Man, it's a new brand. We're trying to introduce it to the market that are used to buying Western clothing, Western designers, European. Well, our competitors are literally Gucci, Fendi, and Prada, because our customer base naturally are people that want designer outfits, right? And we're trying to change their mindset to see that, okay, this African brand has been created in Africa, in Nigeria, to be precise, right, can meet the international standard in the world. And that's what we're trying to show them, for them to be able to buy this product and for them to be able to consume this product, But that's one of our number one challenges. And in terms of building that brand to compete with all these other international brands, that's our number one challenges. But so far, so good. I think we've been able to start getting a big chunk of that market.
So I know, like, the personal tailors to like some significant figures in Nigeria. But like, can you tell us some of your like clientele?
So to be honest, well, we sew for a lot of people, but it's something. Our customer base for Magnum Stitches is something we try to keep as private as possible, But I would say we pride ourselves to sewing for top executives, from bank MDs to governors, to presidents and vice presidents across Africa, not just in Nigeria, across board, But we try to keep our customer base private as much as possible.
So, like, I know, like, every phase has like a peak in life, like you said, Babcock. Like, so, but what do you think is like the highest peak right now? Like, what was your peak?
I would say our peak. We haven't got into our peak yet.
Yeah, no. So every phase. So in this phase, or like the phases you've passed through, like, what do you think? Wow, this was something.
Okay, well, launching of Maison Magnum was one of the most difficult things I've had to do. Well, in terms of setting up the space, right? In terms of, because the standard that I was envisioning, in terms of the quality, the finishing, the look and feel of the space, right? To be able to achieve that, it was like a nightmare. A lot of sleepless nights. So for me to complete the project and have it come to life, I want to say that's a peak in terms of where we're going to. But but I think it's still a journey that we're still very far in.
What upcoming projects do you have? Like, do you plan on like collaborating? Because like the Nigerian and African fashion scene is booming now. So do you plan on collaborating with like African fashion brands or international fashion brands? Like,
for me, primarily we have to bring it back home. Definitely, we're going to have to collaborate with Nigerian, African brands, not just Nigerian, African brands as we know it. We collaborate with African brands. Definitely, we have a lot of exciting things coming up this year. We're collaborating with some African brands, and to be able to take that outside, that okay, this is what we have been able to do back home as United, right? And then, export that to the world and let the Africans in diaspora and the foreign market feed off our concept and our ideas.
So, like, what's your take on like social media? Like Simon Says Group, for example, they're like, people will say, Gen Z, new generation, digital media. So, like, what do you think is the positive thing that like social media and like the internet age has brought to like the fashion industry?
So for me, I think when people say Gen Z, the new age, I think first of all, as an entrepreneur or as a business person or just a person passionate about, moving forward, you have to stay on top of time. It's very, very important, whatever you're doing, right? So you cannot follow like there's an age group or age bracket. So whatever you're doing, whatever you're trying to push forward, your brand, your personal, you need to be able to stay on top of it. So social media has been very aggressive, helpful. You're right. You can connect with so many people all over the world just for sitting down in your living room or your space. So that has really helped us, to be honest. And because of that, we have our products being bought from Saudi Arabia, Malta, Spain, Italy, America, Canada, just to mention a few, and just by the use of social media. So it's been very, very helpful.
Yeah, I know, Jerry. You're a very busy man. So thank you for answering this question. So one more question, and this is like for our viewers. So like you see the young viewers and like the young creatives and the young designers coming up. So what advice do you give them, especially like staying true to their own paths? Do you understand what I mean?
So someone once said, creating a product is what people want, but creating art is what you like. But I think the good balance is bringing that together, finding what people want and what you like and creating that. I think when you do that, that's the jackpot. And then just keep pushing and don't stop. So if you can create what people want and what you like and don't just stop. Don't just stop.
So that's basically
the magic. That's the magic signal there.
Yes, all right, thank you so much for having us today, Jerry. Thank you so much.
Nice one.
This was another episode of Behind the Stitch with Simon Sage Group. Thank you so much for watching.